Life, they say, favors the wicked, while the kind-hearted seem to sip from life's bitter cup. This is the tale of Alex, a boy whose life was marred by misfortune, cruelty, and betrayal. His story begins at home, a place that should offer warmth, but for Alex, it was the beginning of unending pain. At 7 years old, Alex watched his world fall apart. His father's betrayal shattered his family, a betrayal that was even more painful because it came from his mother's closest friend. His father, driven by a desire for more children, had found solace in the arms of his wife's best friend, turning their home into a battlefield. Alex's mother, a gentle soul, hoped for things to change. She believed that one day, her husband would see reason, but each day was worse than the last. She had no family, no place to escape to, and so she stayed, enduring the torment for her son's sake. Life was unforgiving. With Alex's father refusing to support them, Alex's mother worked tirelessly, selling water and scavenging, just to put food on the table. Even though Alex was brilliant, school became a distant dream, as survival took priority. Alex would sneak to lessons when he could, his mind sharp, full of potential, but shackled by the chains of poverty. The little boy, once full of dreams, was now learning to accept that life, for him, was anything but kind. To make matters worse, Philomena, the mistress, took pleasure in mocking Alex's mother. Once, the shop that Philomena now owned had belonged to Alex's mother. It had been taken from her, and given to the woman who wrecked her home. And when the day's hardship wasn't enough, there was always the violence at home. Alex's father, blinded by his affair, blamed his wife for everything, beating her whenever Philomena whispered lies into his ear. His cruelty knew no bounds. One fateful day, hunger drove Alex to make a terrible mistake. He was caught eating leftover rice by Philomena. Furious, she beat him viciously, treating him like an animal. Alex's mother rushed to defend him, but she too was powerless. That night, Alex's father, manipulated once more by Philomena's lies, came home in a rage. His fist did the talking, and his wife was his victim. He believed the lies, believed that his own son was a thief, and punished them both without mercy. Alex, despite all he had seen and endured, still harbored hope. But as the punches landed, as the cruelty of his father and Philomena deepened, he began to understand a bitter truth: life, indeed, favors the wicked, and the good often suffer in silence. And so, Alex, at just 16, looked like an old man, worn down by years of hardship. The cruelty of the world had stolen his childhood, and left him wondering if he was cursed from birth. But even in his darkest moments, he held on to one question: would life ever give him a chance to taste something sweet? But, dear viewers, let us not forget that even in the darkest of nights, a glimmer of hope can shine through. One day, as Alex sat in the corner of their tiny room, his heart heavy with despair, he decided he could no longer remain a victim of his circumstances. With tears in his eyes, he looked out at the stars, whispering a prayer for change. That night, something shifted within him. He resolved to reclaim his life, to not let the cruelty of his father and Philomena define him. The next morning, as the sun broke over the horizon, illuminating the dusty streets of his village, Alex took a deep breath. He remembered the lessons he had sneaked into, the dreams he had cherished. He thought of all the things he had learned during those fleeting moments of freedom. Inspired, he decided he would not only fight for himself but also for his mother. Alex began to save any small coins he could find from his mother's market sales. He would help her at the store, and each night, he would collect scraps of paper and write down everything he learned. He discovered that his love for learning was his true weapon against the bitterness of his life. As the weeks passed, something remarkable happened. His mother, noticing Alex's determination, found a flicker of hope reigniting within her. She began to work even harder, inspired by her son's resilience. Together, they formed a bond that grew stronger through their struggles. One day, while selling water at the market, a kind teacher from a nearby village noticed Alex's intelligence. She approached him, asking why he wasn't in school. As Alex poured out his story, the teacher listened intently, her heart breaking for the boy. She offered him a chance to study at her school, promising to help him with fees. Overwhelmed with gratitude, Alex accepted. He could hardly believe it. With the teacher's help, he enrolled in school, where he flourished. No longer was he just a boy crushed by life's harshness, he was a student full of potential, finally tasting the sweetness of knowledge. With each passing day, Alex's confidence grew, and so did his mother's resolve. They became a force to be reckoned with. Alex, with his education, became the voice for those who could not speak, fighting for justice in their community. He spoke out against abuse and rallied the other villagers to support women like his mother, who had suffered in silence for too long. As Alex's reputation as a brave young man grew, word reached his father. Consumed by jealousy and anger, he tried to regain control, but Alex stood firm. With the support of the villagers and his mother, they finally confronted his father, standing united against the darkness he had brought into their lives. That day marked a turning point. Alex's father, realizing he had lost the power he once wielded, fled the village, leaving Philomena behind. She, now powerless and alone, was forced to face the consequences of her actions. The community rallied together to support Alex and his mother, helping them heal from the pain of their past. Alex and his mother transformed their lives, proving that even in the most bitter of circumstances, love, resilience, and courage could create a new beginning. They became symbols of hope for others, showing that no matter how dark the path may seem, there is always light to be found if one dares to reach for it. Years later, Alex stood before a group of children at the very school that had welcomed him with open arms. As he shared his story, he looked into their eyes, seeing reflections of his younger self. He told them, no matter how tough life gets, remember that you have the power to change your story. You can rise above the bitterness. You can find sweetness, even in the hardest times. And so, my viewers, this tale does not end with despair but with triumph. Life may have tested Alex, but in the end, he emerged stronger, a beacon of hope for all who face similar struggles. For those who endure, remember, there is always a chance for a brighter tomorrow. There is always sweetness waiting at the end of a bitter journey. This is not just Alex's story. It is a story for each one of us. A reminder that no matter how dark life may seem, we all have the power to change our circumstances. We just need to believe, to fight, and to reach for the light. Also a story of betrayal, suffering, and the bitter taste of life's unfairness. What would you do if you were in Alex's shoes? Let me see it in the comment section. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story of resilience and transformation, like, comment, and subscribe for more African folktales and tragic stories that carry deep lessons for us all.